that inside out? On purpose?
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay.
My bad. No, it's been a long time since I did it in person. It's actually almost been like.
Did you miss it?
Like it's been like a month.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. It's the last time we met.
What just happened, bro? God damn. Shit.
I can't wait to hear
Shit.
All right, what's going on, man? It's your boy, Kloth, and I'm back with another video, man. Look up on my stars, so I'm not going nowhere. So, we have Josh. The people have been missing you, bro.
Dude, I missed this, man.
The people have been missing you. And we have another guest. We got my man Drew here.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself.
What's
Man,
up,
where you
Kloth
from?
gang? Drew Myers, small town Montana kid.
Fire.
Lived Seattle, New York. Now I'm down here in Austin. So happy to be here, bro. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thank you for coming.
It's my first time meeting you. It's been a pleasure, man. It's good. It's gonna be a good one.
It's so funny too, because like this is not my first time meeting you.
Yeah.
Like, it's only like the third.
What do you remember the first time we met? Was it on? Was it off? Was it off?
Don't tell real quick. Yeah, this was on. I flicked
You need to run it back.
L-Tech, man. L-Tech. Yeah, it was in the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the store.
We bonded over. I feel like you're probably one of the only people who would have picked up the brand I was wearing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In Austin.
Select few, too. Very select
But
few.
shout out Ray.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Ray. Shout out Ore. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Ore, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, shout out his brand. Definitely. Hey, those derbies, my dog. I'll give you my P.O. box.
Damn, bro.
But this is going to be another segment of Kloth Talk. Now, again, Kloth Talk is just where I grab the article titles from hype beats, complex, and revolving around sneakers, fashion, all that jazz. But y'all know I don't like to waste y'all time, so let's jump into this first article. All right, so this article title reads, The Best Lunar New Year Themed Sneakers. All right, so I didn't even know this is like, honestly, somebody that likes sneakers, I didn't really know this was a thing for real. I didn't know Lunar New Year themed sneakers was like as consistent as Nike's been doing it, but then also other brands have been doing it as well.
Yeah.
But I will say, these Nikes, these Air Forces, this is definitely the best one on the list. The intricacies of these Nike Air Forces are crazy.
If you had them though, would you wear them?
Oh yeah,
That's what I was trying to
Okay,
think.
so
I was gonna get at.
I'll rock them. I'll rock them.
They
I feel
might
like
be
you
like
can pull-
locked
you
in
can
a
pull 'em
safe
off, though.
like
I am
display
the
box.
CEO. I am the CEO of wear your sneakers.
That's
bro.
respect.
I don't care
that's
how
facts.
rare and how like wear your sneakers, bro.
No, but what are you putting together with this?
oh, you can put about
Great
anything.
question. No,
Not
how would you-
anything.
how would you-
Hold on. That's on the
scratch
record.
I wouldn't say anything, but you definitely have to keep it basic. Like with the outfit I got on
Yeah,
now,
I feel like that would work.
white t-shirt, light colored denim, crazy
Yeah,
sneakers.
yeah.
When it comes to crazy sneakers like this, you have to go very basic on the top, I feel like.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you try to like match it too much on the top, then it kind of gets like kind of corny in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
But these are fire though.
But I feel like, first of all, I didn't own a pair of Air Forces till I was like 25.
Oh,
That was
that's
my
fair.
first pair of Air Forces. So like, I feel like I'm just not an Air Force guy, but it would have to be something this crazy to like get me into it.
I can't just put
You know?
plain white. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You said you were from where again?
Montana.
What is the sneaker in Montana? Like, what is like? You came to school and they
You're
were
talking
like,
about
"Ooh,
when I was in
Like
high school.
middle school, high
yes,
school.
like when you were
yeah.
like,
Oh, dog.
you came to
mean-
school with these on, and you was getting like it was all
Dog,
you.
you remember those Pumas with the strap on the side, the rubber strap on the side?
Pumas with
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm Googling
They
this.
look like First of all, Vans.
Okay, that's fair.
Vans.
were
Every
always
basketball player, like you had a pair of fresh whites. You had like, a navy pair, but there were like, I would try to go Nike ID on them.
big. Oh, okay,
I would
okay,
try to
put a
go
little flair on it.
crazy, bro.
Put a little flair on it. Put my own little
So,
taste on it.
Looked terrible.
Okay.
But there really was no like dope sneakers in Montana, like especially where I was from. I mean, like 2,000 people in my hometown.
Because when I typically,
Damn.
I ain't gonna lie. Because when you said Montana, I was like, when I think of Montana, I think of like rural, like off the
100%.
grid. Like
100%.
Dude, I had two.
More
wasn't
cows
being
than people. Like, bro, the apartment complex I lived in New York had more people than my hometown.
Ooh,
My
To
high
put it in
school
perspective.
graduating class was bigger than your hometown, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that's the same size. Like,
Legit.
Jesus Christ.
So your boys come a long way, bro. Now I'm on Kloth Talk, baby. Let's go.
Mama,
I made it from Montana to Kloth Talk.
Damn.
Okay.
So we didn't grow up with forces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
Like,
that makes sense.
It was Vans or like that.
I feel like
that was
every region
condom.
has their own like its sneakers. So like
True.
me, middle school and high school, like you wanted a pair of Air Max Griffeys, you wanted a pair of like some Jordan 5s or Jordan 11s, or like you wanted, like we knew what those it sneakers was. So when you pulled up, people was on you.
Yeah.
You was definitely like, bro, anybody step on my sneakers is over. Like it was that deep
On site.
with sneakers. Yes, bro, it was that deep. So,
we didn't know what Jordans were.
Oh
Like retro. People would wear the mids that aren't retros. Like you the ones you see and you're like, they don't even know what Jordans are, like, because those aren't Jordans.
Like
Random
Nike.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's wild. They didn't know.
Swear, bro.
No, but honestly, Dallas is pretty similar. Shout
Yeah.
out to Plano, Texas.
Dallas?
Like, it was like,
I feel like Dallas would be on. No,
no, it was
in the
like
wrong parts,
a lot
bro.
of Vans, man. A lot of Vans
Yeah.
growing up, for
Vans
sure.
across
Vans had a
I don't
big-
think Vans recognizes as a company how big they were.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Everybody had a pair of
chokehold
Vans.
on the high
It
school.
wasn't just the skaters. Like everyone had a pair of Vans, at least one.
I think I'm still in
Yeah.
like a Facebook group, like Strictly Waffles. Like, they were like very serious conversations, man.
We got to do an audit on this bro's Facebook. What other groups do
Strictly
it?
Waffles, dude. Hey, man. Hey, I'm still trying to get me a pair of those double taps, bro. The skull.
Oh,
those
yeah.
are cool. Yeah, see, so they've had.
Oh
the
yeah,
Japanese-
yeah. Okay,
But then,
it's
yeah, a lot of
interesting hearing
Vans.
that's how you say it.
Double
I would just call it Wu-Tap.
First of all,
I just call it Wu-Tap.
Double Taps is there's this crew neck from Double Taps that was at Union LA when I was in Los Angeles that still has a chokehold on me for like the past 5 years.
thing with
It
the
was
Vans,
like
man.
a collegiate one. That like collegiate like Double Taps big logo, and it was kind of like it was Needles-esque. Like
I gotta
was
look it up.
Partly sewn together. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah, I've had a Wu-Taps sweater before. From, I got it from Second Street. It was pretty fire, but then it was too tight on me, and I sold it for a dumb price. So whoever I sold that to on Depop,
up.
please come to the front of the class. I need to buy it back from you because that was dumb for me to do. But when looking at the other sneakers from like the Lunar New Year theme ones,
Yeah.
I can't lie, I like the Air Forces ones,
the 98s.
but the foam posits, the foam posits low key was heat.
I'm trying to say, yeah.
It was 2015. I remember when those dropped, and I remember people was rocking those. I was like, damn, those. And this is when foam posits was losing its steam. Foam posits was at its peak for me in middle school, like around 2000. Like 10, 12, like when they had like the rookies and like the Galaxies,
Galaxies, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking Galaxies,
so
man.
they dropped these in 2015 when I graduated high school, bro. And it was still, I was still like, ooh, like I kind of want those. Like, those kind of heat. Can't lie.
It's so funny because we didn't talk about this beforehand, but like I was coming in with that same
This
like
is your number one?
I remember exactly when those dropped. I remember where I was, who I was with, like, and we all had the same reaction of like, why do I like these so much? Like I feel like as a collective, like the sneaker community felt that way.
Bro, foam posits I thought was going to have a greater comeback given that they had the CDG collab and like those went crazy. And then they also had the eggplants are still dropping this year, but they kind of changed the color. But like, I'm like, bro, if we could get some more, like we could bring back the foam, especially the clog posit. Have you seen the clog posit? Oh my God.
I gotta look that
The
up.
clog posit, and then you also have the rookies, which are fire too, and then you also have just like the regular like foam posits. But like, hey, Nike, talk to your boy.
Oh,
I could be-
shit.
I could
Those
be-
are crazy,
bro. The clog.
Hey, those are
posits
the
were
those are the Cybertrucks.
And this is before their time, bro. Like these came out in like 2011 and 12,
These?
like around
They came too.
Damn.
They were too. Yeah.
They were ahead of the Cyber. They were
Ahead of the
Elon
game.
stole from them, bro.
Hey, Elon, bro.
2014.
Cut the check.
Cough up that cheese.
Cut the check, bro.
But I'll tell you which one's the worst on the list.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you which one is the worst on the list.
Talk your shit.
The Year of the Pig. Those damn
$100,
dunks.
bro. Those
Those dunks were awful.
Garbaggio.
The year of the pig, yeah, bro. That you shouldn't even put those on the list.
They didn't even
led with it,
try.
though. They
They
led with
led
it.
like
with
they
the
didn't even
pig.
They
try.
led with the pigs, man.
They led with the pig. That is insane.
Year of the bricks, bro. Come
Damn.
on.
Yeah, nah.
We
Yeah,
won't.
the year the pig is done. Honestly, I wasn't too mad at the Doc Martens. I wasn't too mad at them. They kind of like gave like a APC or like a Cold Wall design on it with the little dragon print. Like it was cool. I liked it. It was decent.
They did some. They at least tried. It looks like
Yeah,
they put a
did
lot of
something.
effort into it. I mean, the Jordan 1s are like, you're talking to
Is that the
someone who
lows?
doesn't. Yeah, I don't like lows.
I don't like lows either.
The cool grays, the cool grays. I think like those are the only ones I would rock as far as the Jordan 1 lows. But that's just I don't know. I feel like that's a tough silhouette.
I admire what they did with that one though. At
Okay.
least like the whole little tassel on the back and
Yeah.
like they added and try to make it something better than just
special.
like being like a color drop.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll give y'all that, but like I definitely agree.
Hey, but
Those
These are almost reminiscent of like a lot of these like Dornbeckers too.
Oh,
you know, like
true,
because of how
yeah.
crazy like
yeah,
the
definitely.
like it's so different than what Nike puts out normally. So like I
true.
feel like
Crazy
that's what,
true.
prints and
Yeah.
like honestly
like it's
though,
art on a sneaker.
if we want to
Yeah.
talk about it, I agree, but then I kind of don't because like even like, is it KD's like what's the weatherman's the green pair with the weather maps are
You're talking about the foam posit?
no. It's a different.
Might be the KDs.
like not like,
Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's the KDs.
Like his line of like sneakers. Oh yeah, no,
Kyrie's.
no, not Kyrie's. They're
It's
I
a
think
KD.
I think we're
KD4.
talking about
KD4.
Yeah.
We're talking about the KDs. Like
Oh,
they were like ahead of their time as well, as far as like the things that they're introducing on all these sneakers and like even some LeBrons were fire.
Yeah.
Like they had the Big Bang. Have you ever seen the Big Bang
No.
LeBrons? Like, man, like I'll give Nike credit. I'll give Nike credit. They
They need it. They've been going through some shit.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely have.
Yeah, but I'm
They've been able to
surprised.
do a lot with their sneakers over time.
Yeah.
And I understand why, you know, when we get to the conversation of sneakers, why Nike is like always at the top of the list, no matter like who's coming up. Like Nike is always at the forefront because like when I look back at my childhood, Nike and you know Jordan Brand is a part of Nike. Like they've
Yeah.
just done it all.
Okay, but why do you think that is? Like why is Nike like, cuz it's pretty, I mean, Adidas obviously drops some heat. You know, you got the classics, the Sambas had their moment. But like why
they're
is
still
Nike
living
when
that.
you talk to like most people, like that's who's leading the way.
I mean,
It's like it's the way they you go ahead first.
I feel like it kind of goes back to like our before we started recording or talking about like One Piece and like anime and stuff. It's like part of it. I feel like it's the history. I think the fact that
Yeah.
they have picked like I mean my MJ as like for the Jordan. I mean before like his own Jordan brand, but like as like one of the key figures of like Nike. It became like this like unquestionable level of like cool, you know, like you can't even think too much about it. You just automatically like fuck with it because like
Yeah.
you want to be like him, you know, like
You think
Mike,
it-
and like I don't know, it's like what the brand represented, like how they
Yeah.
established themselves.
you
Like
think about all the like OG movies from the 90s, bro. They're probably rocking a
Right.
pair of Jordans. They're probably rocking some Nikes. Like when I think about like nostalgia, I think of like the TV show Martin. You ever heard of that? Like
Yeah.
he's like you see through
Fresh
the years,
Prince.
like when that show was coming out, what Jordans were dropping just
Yeah.
because of like
Right.
what he was rocking, Fresh Prince, and
Yeah.
like you know all the movies that I kind of grew up on. Like
Right.
they are rocking these sneakers,
Yeah.
and you kind of just adopt like, oh, this is the pinnacle of sneakers because all these
people I love and respect, like I get inspiration
rappers,
from.
movies, like actors, and like you know even like YouTubers and like everybody just like has this affinity for it, and I feel like you kind of just get adopted into that when you
Right.
start getting
Yeah.
into sneakers.
Yeah, and like the segue, like and like those guys, but like who, like why do they like Nike though? And I feel like that
That's
goes
what
back
I'm
again, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why did? Because I'm like, you know, talking about being at like a branding agency. Like I'm always thinking about what's the secret sauce of these brands we work with, and how do we like extract that and apply that to their packaging or marketing so that consumers are like, they don't even realize that we thought so much about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nike is a prime example of like, they're not product focused, they're storytellers.
For sure.
Like, I always think about the commercial. Like, did you guys ever see that commercial where the big kids like running down the middle of the interstate? You know what I'm talking about? And they're basically trying to say like everyone's an athlete, and like that's inspiring, right? Like they're not trying to say our sneakers made with like the best like material out. Like sometimes they will, like maybe
Or
Tom
ethically.
Sachs or ethically. we won't talk about that. But like they're basically trying to say like, you wear Nike, you're an athlete.
Yeah.
Like they're selling you a story.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely. And you think about like, you know, you saying you being like such a big sports person, like, you know, I think about like Penny Hardaway and like his sneakers and like, I don't watch sports. I'll be honest. I don't watch them. But I understand like through loving sneakers, the impact that Penny Hardaway had. I understand like the impact Michael Jordan had.
The Griffies, bro.
Come on,
Man,
bro.
bro.
Like all these major players who are like really shifting the game, like they have this sneaker that they always are pushing, and like they get these crazy colorways, and like, you know, like you said, like the stories and like the advertisement for it, just like it's packaged so well together.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to hate it.
Yeah, 100%.
And like, Drew, you mentioned something interesting, like all that work, like your company, and I'm like, of course, Nike like puts into like their like the messaging. They have the product as well in terms of like a design standpoint. You know, it's not like it's really. I know it's really hard to separate like the branding and the messaging away from like a particular shoe. But even if you were to do that, I feel like you still come across like design elements like you fuck with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Take out the swoosh, but just like looking at like what is it, like SBs and the Jordan one, like highs, right? Like, it's like, it's a cool design, right? But then I mean there's a lot of factors into it for sure. But yeah, definitely the inspiration piece. I feel like that's like fashion overall, right? Like we wouldn't be inspired.
I mean,
like,
think about like the people who are doing stuff well nowadays, like Ame, like they're not product focused. Like you see their campaigns, like now you can't go anywhere without a new brand trying to like shoot in a vintage Land Rover. Like because Ame like did the thing with the dog and they went to the cabin and like they were just showing the product and like organically and like telling you a story about what is the person who wears my product, like what do they do?
They create
like, oh shit, they drive a Defender, like I'm trying to be like that.
in the simplest term possible, they found their lane and they stuck to it.
It's new.
Like-
It's new Ralph.
Like they're say that. I mean, but like no, that's facts. That's facts. But like they found their lane, their aesthetic, and I think that's what, you know, like we were mentioning earlier. Like once you establish and break away from like what everyone else is doing, and you do what is like for you and like what you're like what's true for you, then like your brand's only gonna go further.
Yeah.
When you start copying and pasting, like you can only do that for so long because you're gonna run out of ideas, and you're waiting for that company or that person to give you a new idea.
Right.
But the people who are creating that, like, is endless.
Yeah.
It's funny you say like that's so spot on because I'm reading a book right now called Play Bigger, and it's about category kings. It's like the people who create the category are the ones who end up with the most longevity.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you're creating something crazy different. Like you just take something and change, you know, the Virgil, like 3% different.
Yeah.
And that could be a new category. Like you're in your own lane versus just trying to copy paste.
I'll add one more thing. Like that dude that was like shopping at Target and he was like setting up his tripod. Have you seen that? The Drew Walls dude? He was like,
I don't think so.
he was like setting up his tripod, like going to Target, but like people were just clowning him for it. But now like that's a category of people on TikTok. So it's like, I don't know. It's
That's a
just
good.
funny.
That's
It's a funny thing.
interesting observation. Yeah.
Last thing I will say about this topic is another bad one from that batch. Year of the Ox, terrible. The New Balance, it's terrible.
Wait, why? Why?
Year of the
though?
Ox, bro, come on. That's not a.
You just
New
think it's
Balance?
boring?
Yes.
What?
I think those are
The year of the-
fire.
I feel like those are the ones that I would like actually wear though.
I agree. Wait, what about it? What about it? Let's dive a little deeper.
Yeah, let's get a little longer.
Are you just talking shit, bro?
If I just wanted a mud pie shoe, like fuck.
Damn.
Like, what is I mean, based from the images I see, which is like a greater percentage of that shoe, it looks very boring.
But Brown's having a very big. It's almost like
It's a sexy new
Yeah.
buck on it as well on the.
maybe it's the
upper, man.
silhouette. Maybe they should have did a 9.
you just don't like the 991.
And I don't love the
Maybe,
991 either, but like the
The
material
991's kind of
choices.
fire.
I'm like a 320 like
993?
Yeah. All
Yeah.
those, yeah.
993.
But can we
Yeah.
just agree that the 990 V3
As peak. Or
that's
what?
the best. That's the best. I mean,
That's fair.
I love
Probably
the
probably one of
V6.
Maybe one of the more. It's definitely one of the more comfortable ones for sure.
yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
I can back that.
Yeah, that was peak for sure. But
But-
all the wait, no, you say but all this talking, you're not
He's
gonna
like,
tell me.
wait.
You're not gonna tell me how are you gonna rock the superstars, bro?
Oh, bro,
God, those are dog water.
I completely let that one escape my mind. I didn't even.
It wasn't even in the picture.
Like I saw it and then like the screen went black. I was like, okay.
You
like,
gotta show a
next
pic before we move on. Though. I was
Dog,
like, I
those
saw
are-
those. I agree. It was a mental exit.
Yeah, I was
That
like,
wasn't even on the list.
I didn't even recognize
I
that
admitted
was-
it.
Fuck
Those
that,
are
like-
dog water.
What was the year of the dog? Yeah.
Tiger.
Terrible. Terrible shit.
He just want to go off on that.
But let's get into the next article. All right, so this article title reads: Dapper Dan and Gap reunite for the biggest Dap Gap collection yet. Dap Gap. Sound like a
Sounds like
almost like a
dad bod.
toothpaste. No, it sounds like a toothpaste, like Dap Gap. Like only need a dap.
I'm thinking about like dad grass for this, bro.
I don't know, bro. I'm making it up.
I don't know if I see that. Those Modelos are getting.
I'm freestyling. But I will say this. I absolutely love when people who are so for the culture, not even just like fashion wise, but obviously, you know, it being Black History Month and like somebody that's been for the culture and hasn't veered off, like when they get opportunities like this, gotta love it. Absolutely gotta love it. Dapper Dan, amazing. Like just his work with, you know, rappers in the 90s and like, you know, all his accolades that he's been able to acquire, given the time period when like it really wasn't like the best move for a lot of these luxury brands to mess with him. Like Dapper Dan, gotta give you your flowers, bro.
Yeah.
But how do y'all feel about the clothes?
So, as I'm looking at it, here's what I'll say, and I'm curious what you guys think about this. And you could probably pop this picture up, but like the guy and the guitar, like I'm thinking like, okay, what is he trying to convey with this collection? Like my first thought is it's not cohesive because it's like basically from what I read, he's trying to play into the whole Western wear, right? And sort of tying that into like everyday essentials, which I think is dope because you think of like Western wear, you think of like denim button-ups and jeans, but he's taken that and going like hoodies and things like that. So like art direction wise, I'm messing with it. This picture is amazing, but then it feels disconnected.
Yeah. Before we jump into that, because we were talking about this previously, what do you think was the jump for so many people to get into Western? Like, as we've seen, Louis Vuitton just got into Western. I've seen a couple other, just from Paris Fashion Week, a lot of companies are moving and showcasing like Western wear. So I'm like, where do you think that came from? Like Wes Anderson films or something?
I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier too about like everything's influenced from somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have like Kendall, like Bella Hadid, like they're like talking about how much they love their horses and like and like you have Kanye moving to Wyoming like for that time period and owning like cattle and sheep. Like
True.
you have these big influential people like going out of the metro areas and like appreciating like Western stuff. That may be a crazy theory.
No, I
That
don't
low
think
key,
it's crazy.
like
I don't
you,
think it's
you
crazy at all.
cooking something.
Oh, for sure.
You cooking
The
something.
stove is on. I don't know.
Yeah, like that low key makes sense. Like,
You
I
know?
mean, just thinking about from like, you know, I obviously came here from California. A lot of people from California moved to Texas. They're being immersed into like this different culture now too, just being here. So like, even from like a small like micro level, I think that could play into it as well. Like, you know, coming from California and like Western and like wearing like button like pearl snaps and like cowboy hats, like that's not heard of unless you're going to like a theme party and you're like fucking you're going to Sandy Cheeks or something. But like you move from California, you come to Texas and like that's kind of just a part of the culture. So you kind of have to blend in and adapt. So like I could definitely agree. I feel like that's a good point to make.
I'm thinking about TV. I'm thinking about like Yellowstone, like past couple years, and then The Last of Us, HBO. I feel like that one.
Is that the video game?
Yeah. They made a show off of that. Like I feel like what's his name? Pedro Pascal, like his fits in that show.
Yeah.
Pretty nice, you know.
We can even think about Nope. And like,
ooh.
you know, he had that.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like I feel like that's it. I don't think it's ever one thing. I feel like Drew, what you said, like for sure, like the top celebrities,
There's
like embracing that culture for sure. TV is always a big one for us, right? We love taking shit from like movies and stuff. And
I feel like even for me too, like growing up in California, like there are certain brands that I rock, but like since moving to Texas, like I would have never thought I would wear this much Double RL.
Double RL, dude.
Double RL's gas.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. Yeah, like
can't knock it. Like I definitely have started to acquire more Double RL pieces than I ever thought I'll ever have in my closet. So,
but like as you were saying, though, Greg, it's like it's because it's a product of like proximity for you, like because you're here in Texas. Like, would you have found out about it like if you weren't? And like it's okay if you don't, but like you know, And like I feel like there's brands like that for like everyone, right? Like Double RL is huge for us in like Texas, but I'm sure there's like. Yeah, the fact that like we're not in New York or we're not in like Seattle or LA, like we're missing out on like a little bit more niche things for that like region. Yeah.
But back to your point though, as far as like it being cohesive, I think it comes into a play or it comes into a problem with that it being still Gap.
Yeah.
And that not really being a part of like their.
Do you not think they let them like fully cook?
I think they let them fully cook, but it still has to be. It still has to be sellable, and then it also still has to be marketable to like their demographic.
You're thinking like, from a business perspective.
Yeah, so like of course they're gonna have like if he's like trying to do Western, it's gonna be like a few pieces in there that's Western, but then like some of the pictures in this article, like it kind of gives preppy or it kind of gives like boat.
That's what I'm. Yeah,
like it kind of it definitely it was almost like Sperry type outfits.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So I think that's just the issue. Like. It's him wanting to do that, and like they gave him full range to make some pieces, but to make a full collection out of that, I feel like it was kind of like, we kind of have to at least meet in the middle somewhere with it.
Yeah.
But some of the pieces though, I honestly also do like the Dap. I don't know
the hoodie.
Not just like the idea, like it being Gap.
Yeah,
and then them being able to change their company name basically to Dap. For him, not company name, but like obviously for this collection.
Like changes like their big logo.
Yeah,
I get.
And I like when companies when they give creatives the full range. Like we spoke about this many times, but like, you know, although I don't really care too much for a lot of the Travis Scott lows, but like reversing the swoosh, that was big because like who else had that power and who else did that prior? I'm sure they had it before, but it was more prevalent with Travis Scott, like reversing the swoosh.
Yeah,
and like. I think about you know Salehi and like a lot of these big designers that's out right now. Like they're changing the shoe, making it their own, but then also making like crazy changes, like something that it wouldn't have happened before.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you mentioning that because it's like it might seem so small to like I don't know like a casual just like onlooker into like let's say like the Travis Scott's right but. I feel like you gotta acknowledge like how important that is in terms of getting that like creative liberty, like to be able to do that.
Yeah,
you know, because I'm sure like there's been like hundreds of other like athletes or like collaboration like celebrities that that have wanted to do to like flip the logo or like change it, but like Nike's been like hell no. Yeah, but for
who do you think paved? Who do you think there was like?
Oh, that's a great question.
Who paved that way?
Paved the way to change it, or just paved?
Who paved the way to being like? You can stand up to these big brands and like you can be more, you know what I'm saying? Like who broke that code or that rule? Like I mean you go back to the 10, like that was the first like with Virgil doing like the 10 with Nike and like but something had to like I don't know if there was one specific inflection point.
I feel like it also comes with like the change of the times too. Like people are way more accepting and like willing to hear certain things. Like back then it was profit. It was like cut and dry. Like, no, we need to make money. We need to do X, Y, and Z. And like I mentioned before on Kloth Talks, like collab sneakers like with another person, like those didn't happen as often as they happen now.
True.
Like a collab sneaker with somebody that was like like influential, like that was like maybe 5 a year.
Right.
Now it's like fucking 20
Every week kind of thing.
like every week. So it's like, I think it's like the times have changed because one, they're only gonna like these sneaker companies or like these fashion like companies, they're only gonna last so long just putting out their own stuff.
Yeah.
Like they had to get fresh minds in there. They had to get, you know, different ideas out there to stay up to date. Because if you don't do that, then you end up like a what's that, Redbox, and you turn down Netflix. And then, it's Blockbuster. It was Blockbuster. They turn down Netflix, and then it's like we get beat out because we didn't want to adjust to the times.
Yeah, no, Drew, that's a good question though. I'm curious. I feel like that's a great discussion point too. Like, because I don't know. I feel like there's so many maybe like points in time or like specific releases that people can call back to. But yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah, Kloth Talk followers. You know, like what do you think? What do you think that is?
Go ahead and drop in the comments.
I like that.
Drop in the comments. When do you think that needle was moved, or that push happened, and sneakers are in fashion?
Yeah.
Like, who do you think that person was? Because a lot of people, I think, might say Kanye.
I mean, he was the one who, like, you think of the when he was with Nike, like the, you know, like the Air Yeezy.
Then he had that
like
deal,
that was a brand new silhouette, which doesn't really.
That's true.
They didn't do that really, except for like, you know, you go to like Jordan and like their major athletes.
Right.
And then you have that fallout with him and Nike, and then he goes to Adidas and does it again. It's like, that's unheard of to leave from Nike.
Yeah.
And then, but you had a success with it. You leave from them, then you go to Adidas and do just as much crazy. Like, I think a lot of people are going to say him. We don't condone what he's doing now. No. But
someone, you guys might know more. Like, we want to hear.
There might be somebody else like hidden,
who influenced him.
Yeah,
sure.
like definitely. Because I know him and Virgil both interned with a lot of people, and like, I think it's just like. I feel like it could get lost too trying to find that answer because it's like there's no definitive answer.
Yeah.
But you know, you guys will definitely, or somebody will definitely know, like, no, actually, it was on this day in this music video. Because then people might say Pharrell too.
Well, you think your followers? You think they talk like that,
bro? Some of them, some of them.
But they're educated though on the subject matter, man.
We're just mad because y'all know more than us.
That's for a lot of people I don't know. That's how I internalize how they talk.
Oh, bro, like 100%.
I'm like, I just picture like especially when like they're super niche on a certain topic. I'm like, oh, they're nerding out.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude,
100%.
Great. I gotta ask you though.
Yeah.
Sort of a heavier topic, but like mentioned in the article, like because it mentioned like destigmatizing like the hoodie.
Oh, I like
and
that.
I was curious, so, like, did you ever feel that like growing up, man?
That's a crazy question to ask her.
Take a sip. Take a sip.
Just I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Because it mentioned Trayvon Martin in there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Prior to that, I don't think I felt that. But I think after, there definitely was a pressure to make myself look less, which is crazy to even think about, make myself look less aggressive to somebody else. So like if I
like
had
subconscious even.
like if I had a hoodie on, like, and I was walking, I'll probably just try to take it off just to be like, oh, like I'm not gonna do what people are saying I'm gonna do to you just because you're walking on the same street as me.
Damn.
But like, I don't know. I just think my perspective on that shit, it's like the world is fucked. Like there are a lot of, you know, races and like a lot of demographic of people. We've all contributed to like why we have these stigmas towards certain groups. But to go back to this, I think it's just like I kind of felt it, but then I kind of didn't like. I never been around enough, let's say, people who have that mindset to let it control me. So I never really like was always like but like I have caught myself in certain situations where it's like maybe I shouldn't do this or maybe I shouldn't do this just because I know how they already view me.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to bring it up too because I feel like it's an important message about like this drop and and you mentioned it too. It's like the world is fucked. Like the fact that people have to think about wearing how they're wearing a hoodie to like present themselves is like insane to me.
Article of clothing to protect you from the elements. And you're like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just go outside and get frostbite just because I don't want anyone to perceive me a certain way.
And I feel like for him, like that's a very like, that's a very interesting way he approached it, because he's thinking from an angle that I wouldn't have even thought of, or like other people would have. And like from the aspect of like Gap is, to your point, like so ubiquitous. Yeah. Like it may not be like the most fashionable thing, but like the normal American family is like probably shopping at Gap, you know? So like he's thinking like way bigger even than like niche, trying to make like a niche, like dope fashion product. Like he's thinking like, how do I make an impact, you know, on a bigger scale, like to these communities that are.
I think a note that you made right there is something that he mentioned in the article too. I think it's also dope with somebody again who has the accolades that he has and worked with the companies that he's worked with. He mentioned like, I want to make something that people could actually obtain.
Yeah.
So like when you think about like, again, people might have, you know, views on, you know, Kanye, but when he did his Yeezy Gap, like it made it accessible kind of to people who can afford that mainline stuff, like that.
That was his intent. That was his intent, for sure.
Like I definitely appreciate like, because growing up for me, like my mom didn't like, she couldn't always afford like.
Shout out to Shaq, bro. I was on Shaq's growing up. Yeah, shout out. Dude, I mean, hey, I can afford the regular Nikes, man.
You got what your parents gave you at that point. So like, you know, I definitely appreciate that. You know, especially given the economic like pressures right now, making something that people can like, if they've always loved your work and they weren't able to afford it, like being able to afford it now, like it's like, finally I was able to get Dapper Dan piece, or I was finally get a Kanye piece.
Yeah,
I feel like that is like low key, like that could be a Pandora's box about like fashion, like the like, do we like it because it's like expensive as fuck, like the value of it, you know? And that's it's not
it's a fair question.
Exactly. And I get it, and I like subscribe to that too, right? Like, of course I love Capital because it looks sick, but it's also like, oh yeah, it's expensive. Yeah, exactly.
I think it's also like, I don't want to wear everything that, like, sometimes like I have on Stussy, which a lot of people wear Stussy, but it's like I like wearing stuff that I don't see everybody else wearing, and like
That's
you're
true.
not gonna run
That's
into
true.
like Capital as often,
Right.
maybe a little bit more than like the past couple of years.
Right.
But like it's the fact that it's exclusive, and like
that's true.
it's not too many. Like when they do like these batch orders, like they're not doing like mass production either. So it's like, I think that's my call to it too. It's like it's unique. You're not gonna see it too often. Even like with the shoes you were wearing in the store, it's like when you recognize somebody else wearing it, you're like, now it's a conversation starter, and now you're on Kloth Talk. So I think it's just like, I don't know.
That's true.
There's a line for sure. Like, it can't just, like, for the masses, great. There's definitely like pros and cons to both. Like, that's great, but then, Greg, what you were talking about, like the individualization, you know, like being unique is, I mean, it's important.
I mean, I go back and forth like so often of like, am I just gonna sell everything and just wear like a white tee and jeans and like uniform type shit?
But that's still, look, I think that's the greatest thing about it too, because it has the resale value. So like, I'm buying it, it's unique, it fits my style, I like having it in my closet, but then also when I get tired of it, I'm able to get rid of it. I may be able to make a profit too. So it's like,
that's true too.
It's
complex, man. It's just complex, man.
It's a lot to it. Because I definitely have bought things because it's like, oh, that's the name, I know people are gonna want it. So like, even if I don't end up wearing it as much as I thought, I at least make like $100 or $150 on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh, this was a fun topic though.
But
yeah.
Let's jump into the next article. All right, so this article title reads, Apple Vision Pro users who forgot their password have to reset it in store.
Can you imagine paying $3,500 and they're like, you gotta come back? Like, what?
A password can only be reset using the $300 USD developer strap. I think we should. How do y'all feel about it overall? Before we get into like the password thing, how do y'all feel about the Apple Vision Pros?
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but I'll echo that sentiment. It's like Drew and I were saying, back to like just like touchscreen phones, like modern phones, and like the AirPods first gen. Like, I think this is the first time I won't be too quick to just like hate on something, because I think it's like stupid, like initial impressions, because I acknowledge what Apple has done and just like, like creating innovations and things like that. I mean, VR has been around, right?
Yeah.
I know people like rave about like the Meta Quest 3 and stuff like that, but I mean, it's always different when Apple does it, you know?
I mean, the first thing of anything, to your point, is like, it's not going to be perfect.
Exactly.
Like the first, sometimes taking that first step is like, you're putting yourself out there and it's not going to be perfect, you know, like, but to your point, they're going to look like your glasses in like 10 years.
And I fuck with that, bro. I fuck with that. Like, I think that's cool. Like the whole augmented reality thing. I haven't seen too many clips of people like using it and like their POV, like in terms of like what they see. But then the cooking one seemed pretty tight though.
Oh, bro.
That
okay,
I fuck
Josh,
with that.
Me and you are the same way. But
Y'all have the same algorithm. What the fuck?
When I saw this person looking up recipes while he's cooking,
Oh,
like,
you don't
I was
need
like,
like
that
an
makes
iPad
sense.
on the
You don't even have
countertop
to
or something.
look at your phone. You
Yeah.
don't have to
It's
like
there.
pause the video. Like you're literally just
Yeah.
looking. Let me just add those measurements. And I was like, oh yeah, no, like that's just fire. Like, that
Damn.
makes sense. But what I would like to just add is just like how much of our, I'm not gonna say humanity, but like how much of ourselves are we gonna keep giving to technology before it's like
Apple.
there's no way to turn back from it.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine, like you said, like it becomes your glasses, and like you know, for somebody who needs to wear their glasses all the time, like you're gonna be within that realm or in that space all the time. So it's like
True.
I that's my only qualm with it.
You're saying it becomes like so ubiquitous that you have to join in because that's the norm now.
Like you
got
won't be able to like, you know, like if you're a kid, right? You're the only one that doesn't have, and everybody is like, you know, look at this, I just sent it to you, and then like, you know, you're not around. It's like I don't have one, y'all. It's
The
like,
fuck is pen and paper, bro? You're journaling on
And
paper.
then like you think about like, you know, let's say they do become glasses, and like you have to take a test, and like, you know, all these things that come up of like, what are we giving by getting this?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a big
question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. Like,
because I see the benefits for sure.
Right.
There are definitely great benefits. But then I also saw a video of some dude driving and using it while he was driving. It's like, that's where I'm like, we need to limit those distractions. If it's on your eyes, like you, I don't know.
I didn't even think
what
about
do you
that.
think though? People were saying when laptops and iPhones and social came out.
Dude.
Do you think they were saying the same thing, or do you
I
think
think
we've
so.
reached
I
a
feel like
point?
probably.
Do you think we've reached a point where it's become like a little too much? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying. I feel like the essence of the conversations have like been there though, like from those times too. I think just how they're talked about is different, which is fair. It's like more and more, right? And I think with these days, especially like not just with the Vision Pro, but like AI in general, like that huge buzzword. I mean, of course, tons of stuff is happening, so I think it's more like present in that sense. But I think whenever any new like technological innovation comes out, like people are always gonna we're gonna have these conversations.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like it's just like the only difference that I would say for our devices currently versus like the devices previously is how much we're on our devices.
Yes.
Like when the first phone came out, you weren't just like, you know, texting. You weren't spending so much time on it like we were like now. So it's like so much of like the technology that's being introduced to us now, like it's almost consuming people's lives where like, you know, you don't even have to go outside. You don't even have to like,
facts.
You know, be active, and like you're kind of becoming like a docile person almost, because like everything you need as far as like getting in contact with family, getting in contact with work, and like you know, all that stuff is behind the desk now. And I feel like, you know, the stuff that I do now with work, I almost have to pull myself to like go outside, because it's like I didn't step outside all day. What the fuck?
100%.
Like, I need to go outside.
I'm with you.
I think here's what I think. I think it's like on a macro level, especially where we live, like we promote innovation. We value innovation. We like new things. We like when someone like figures something out and like innovates. Like we celebrate it, right? Yeah. Like we celebrate innovators. For sure. So I feel like unless we change that and start celebrating like a different type of thing, like we're gonna keep moving in this direction. You know what I'm saying? As a people, like if we like that's just what we're promoting and celebrating. Is like moving forward, like the next thing, like newness, like until we like celebrate like community and like togetherness, like
true.
I don't know, you know, I'm talking like tech aside, like big picture, like
I mean that's how like society has been.
The
right?
Modelo might be hitting me.
Nah,
The Modelos make you start thinking. No, because look, you know what that makes me think of next? Because this one makes me a little bit more uncomfortable. Not even a little bit, like even more uncomfortable than I've felt in a long time. But that chip that Elon...
Oh, the Neuralink chip, bro. I knew you were going to talk about that, bro.
Why, like, it gets to a point also with the tech. It's like, why? Why do you, like, who's asking for that?
Right.
Like, who seriously wants that for real? Like, that one gives me, like, a real, like, this is stepping into, like, a sci-fi horror, like, film, and we keep going towards it, and we're not going to be able to turn around.
Yeah.
Do you think we can turn around?
No. Honestly,
for real though, like,
look, bro, I think we've done irreparable damage to
ourselves.
We're hooked.
Yeah.
We're hooked on
like,
it.
For sure.
And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so, different. I'm not on my phone because like I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, how much are we gonna keep giving before it's like?
No, I think these are important questions though, Greg. Andrew, like it's like that self-awareness piece of like how, like, knowing ourselves and like how attached we are like to these devices. And same thing, I don't know, I feel like I'm reminded in Austin at least of like every time we have those like freezes in like February, bro, like losing power and shit. That's when I'm reminded of just like the starting block, like step one in terms of like what do I really need at the end of the day, like basic necessities of course, but like what are really like non-negotiables.
Almost makes you tap into like your most primal thoughts.
I mean, do the food. No, for real.
Warmth.
I need shelter.
What was that shit like? Revenant, like the DiCaprio movie? It was like, like no, for real.
I mean, damn, like that's
No, that's funny as fuck. That's absolutely like when you get into those moments, you tap into like, you can't, the power grid's off in Austin because it sucks. Yeah. So then it's like you can't be on those devices. So it's like, oh shoot, like I'm back to reality. Yeah. Like, and you almost instantaneously remember like what you value most. Like I need to be around people. I need to be around like my friends, family. And then as soon as it's back on, it's almost like the switch turns back on. You're like, all right, I'm back online.
Right.
I mean, it takes a conscious effort every day to like, because sometimes I'll be walking like the street I walk every day. And I like forget I'm walking the dog or something. I forget my phone and I'm like, I didn't notice this tree before. Like I didn't notice this house. Like, damn, like I'm really on my, like we're on our phones that much.
For sure.
You'll walk the same street and see something different because you're not even paying attention.
Yeah.
How alarmed do you get when you don't feel your phone on you?
Oh, dude, it's like
bro, I get
horror movie.
I get freaked out. I'm like.
The shock that like jolts on my back to my shoulders, bro. Yeah, it's yeah.
You think about also like, you talk about like safety and like sensitive information, like.
Oh, your life is on there, bro.
Imagine somebody gets a hold of your eyes. No, that's the Modelo talking.
Whoa.
But like, again, like it's an interesting direction that we're heading.
Yeah.
With all this technology, and I just like. I don't know if I really want to dabble in it, but also like if you don't, you kind of get left behind.
Exactly.
It's like the way like the world's moving, like as far as jobs and as far as opportunities, like
it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I don't know. That's interesting.
I want to hear too what people like. I'm so curious, like what everyone thinks of this. Like for me, it's. To your point, like when you're forced to think about like the things that really matter, like connections, like the people you're around, like that's when you start figuring out what you really like. But we're distracted so much of the time, like
we don't make time for that.
Yeah, we don't make
in our day to day. Definitely not.
You definitely make a great point. Like it's like you literally have to make in today's
intentional
time
effort.
Like that intentional effort,
For
that
sure.
conscious decision to be present in the moment, be
Dang,
away
man.
from your devices.
Damn.
Sad.
Dude, Kloth Talk turning into
Dude, that was a burp, y'all.
We're turning into a mental health podcast now, bro. Shit, man.
I mean,
today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Better help.
Yeah.
BetterHelp.
Yeah.
We're getting all sponsors. We're getting Modelo, BetterHelp. I don't think those two really mix.
I don't know. Modelo's got me feeling pretty good right now.
But let's get back to you have to go into a physical store to reset your password.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That seems crazy. Considering like we're talking about all this tech, like how would that even be a requirement? I mean, I get because it's the first round of it, so like they haven't worked all the kinks. But like, I spent almost $4,000 on something. That be about to work out the box.
Oh, for sure.
It better not be no issues.
For sure.
And if I do have an issue, I should be able to fix it at home.
And like, I'm sure there's like a good non-zero number of like tech people, right? That just like don't live in like a major city anymore. And so like they just have that shit, right? And like the fact that they gotta go to like a flagship store or something, like that might like, I don't know, yeah. I saw this one dude, I think he had like a local Apple store in his vicinity, but then like he was on the verge of like flying out, like just like pick one up, like in store, like that shit. But like the fact that you might need to do that if you forget your password is insane.
Be in the contract. Once you buy, it's like we comp you for your flights. If you're X amount of miles away from a store, we comp you for your flights to get it fixed.
Yeah, they're just trying to. I feel like they're just trying to see what they can get away with.
I was gonna mention.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Do you think we can get people to come back in after spending $4K? Like.
It's like I feel like it's like a marketing study in of itself, like for themselves. Like how much can we get away with? But because they can get away with a lot.
I mean, Apple's getting away with. I mean, come on, like we talk about how much that phone's really worth,
right?
How much they sell it for. They're getting away with everything. Like, it's not even a question if they're trying to get away with it. They're hiding it in different formats.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I don't know.
I'm sure they already have the tech to be able to reset your password without coming in the store. I bet you they do.
Really?
And they're just waiting. That's a hot take. I bet
That's
you.
a hot take.
Oh wow.
There's no way they did not think about that.
Damn.
Kloth Talk Conspiracies V1. Kloth Talk Conspiracies.
Fucking tinfoil hat.
Do you agree? Do you
Scratch the mental health. We are a conspiracy channel.
Conspiracy podcast.
Like
9/11 was
no
the U.S. government.
There's no way y'all thought about this.
Bush.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean, what do you guys think?
In your defense, though, Greg, I feel like they have top engineers. The fact that like this became an issue is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I'll give them credit. Like I'm sure it's a real thing, but and like those guys are working overtime right now. Like they're working and probably as we speak.
This idea has been in works for X amount of years. Probably I'll probably say a decade plus, bro.
Yeah,
or maybe 5 years. Decade seems crazy, but like
maybe
there's no way a password reset is the thing you're like, oh, dude, we fired the reset guy. Fuck.
Like they tested that.
Exactly. That's all.
Damn,
I'm saying.
that's a
conspiracy talk.
Conspiracy talk.
That's where it's at. Would you pay for it? I guess we could wrap it up right now. But like, would you pay for it $3,500 right now?
Oh,
right now?
Fuck.
I can't even,
bro. Like that reminds me of that. What's his name? Corday. That Corday clip when he's like sneaker shopping. He's like, that shit like a 06 Honda, bro. No way, man.
It's not worth it right now, especially with all the bugs and stuff.
You have to be like, I feel like a millionaire to have that be worth it,
and not bat an eye. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's
like
a different net worth conversation, right?
I'm not there.
Hey, subscribe.
Hey,
and maybe we
want to get Kloth on there, bro. If y'all want to help Kloth get one, subscribe.
I'll say that, but if like I know a guy that knows a guy that has one, I
that knows a guy's brother.
Yeah, that has. But I'd be kind of curious. I'd be kind of curious. I would be kind of.
I would want to put it on at least.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Tap in.
All right.
But that is gonna wrap up Kloth Talk. But without further ado, like I always do, I'll catch you in the next one.
Just keep it, bro. Just keep it.
But I love the way you work it. Ay, I love the way you work it from